What's going on, guys? It's your boy back at you again with another Tommy Reads X-Men. Today, we are looking at X-Men number 27 from December 1966, written by Roy Thomas with art by Warner Roth. This one is called Re-Enter the Mimic. That's right, the Mimic's back, y'all. We got a little preview of him in the last issue, but this issue's all about him. Anyway, we start off, like we always do, in the X-Mansion. But they ain't training this time. We're in the middle of a battle. The X-Men versus the Mimic. It's starting off with a bang. They're like, we need to, get this engine going real quick. And what happens is the Mimic, I feel like number one, he starts putting a whooping on the X-Men. So, Beast, first one done, first one knocked out. As always, I don't know why he constantly runs his mouth if he's the first one that always gets the, the backhand. Anyway, Cyclops down, Iceman down, comes down to Jean and the Mimic. Now, the Mimic, Angel is out of this because he was hurt in the last issue, but we'll get to that, in case you were wondering. Now, the Mimic, to me, seems almost like without training, seems like he's almost a better X-Men than the X-Men. Like, he inherits all these powers because he can mimic them. He's not a mutant. He got it through, I believe, some kind of chemical shenanigans or whatever. But he is so much better at being the X-Men than the X-Men, and he's constantly handing the X-Men L's. Now, it gets down to Jean and the Mimic. Now, Papa Chuck's there, and he's got Mimic's got his mental powers or whatever. So Charles sends him a little bloop, 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 and he's like, don't hurt Jean. Remember, this is a test of strength. What? What you mean to tell me? You gonna tell me that Papa Chuck and the Mimic are in cahoots? They're in cahoots together. And so then we get a little Stan Lee box that's like, okay, you guys have had enough of this action. Let's go back and tell you what happened. And on page 5, we finally flash back to what's going on with the X-Men after the last issue. Now, they're bringing in Angel. And if you remember, it ended on a cliffhanger where Angel was like, Cyclops done hit me on purpose. And he's jealous because he knows I like Jean and she like me. And he knows, because he likes Jean, that it ain't gonna happen. And he's like, what? That was an accident? And Iceman and Beast are like, oh, this could be possible. I don't know. They got their own thing going. We got girls that we go out with, and they're fighting over the same... Anyway, so what happens is, in this issue, Warren's like, oh, yeah, once I'm better, I realize, Scott, you probably didn't hit me on purpose. My bad. And that's it. They leave us on a cliffhanger in the last issue, and then it doesn't amount to nothing here. So, they just wanted to tease us with a little X-Men dissension, and then they all good on page 5? I don't know. Anyway, we cut to Jean at the school. Because remember, we went back in time. It's like an episode of Lost. Or a Quentin Tarantino film. You got to kind of figure out what's going on with everything. And so we got to Jean at school, and she's watching Ted, who's apparently... Our boy Ted, he's in another one. I don't want to say I'm low-key rooting for Ted, but, I know what happens. Because, I've been reading X-Men since I was 5 years old, but, Ted's in there, and he's apparently a decathlon athlete, so Jean's watching him run track and, jump over hurdles and, swim. I don't know why I was acting it out. Y'all know what swimming's like. Anyway, so Jean is, like, having such a good time being, I guess, normal, doing normal things, not getting, put in life or death situations, that she's like, I should really give up this superhero life. And I should... Then an explosion happens while she's questioning her stock in life. And an explosion happens at the college in the science department. Out comes Calvin Rankin, Ted's buddy, a.k.a. the Mimic. And because of this explosion, which they're pretty vague on, it was just an explosion, which I guess happens in science labs all the time. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not a scientist, believe it or not. And, so the Mimic gets his memory back. So when he sees Jean, he's like, I think I could start to get my telekinesis power on. That is totally Marvel Girl. Nobody else here knows it, but that's her, and there's smoke, there's fire. We're going to be led to the X-Men. Now, out of nowhere, we cut to the Puppet Master, who I guess was behind the explosion. They were kind of yada yada over that. Anyway, so the puppet master, who in the little stand box tells you is a last scene he was battling the Fantastic Four, but now he's in the X-Men world, giving them all kinds of shenanigans. He done built himself a Papa Chuck doll, or a puppet, I guess. He's a puppet master. It's not like he's the doll master. So he builds himself a Papa Chuck puppet, and then he tries to take possession of Charles Xavier. What happens is, it doesn't work. The puppet somehow shocks him, and he's like, ah, God. You know what? Then he drops it. That's right. I told you I got props here now in the Christmas episode. Anyway, the weird thing that happens is Papa Chuck is like, he's working on like Cerebro with the X-Men. Like they're tinkering on a machine or whatever, tinker. And he's like, huh. And they're like, what is it, Professor? He's all, first of all, it's Sir, damn it. And he's like, somebody just tried to take control of my brain. All nonchalant like that. Like that happens every Tuesday to him. You know what I'm saying? Like the X-Men like, wait, what? And then he's like, sure. You know what? I'm going to work on this by myself. Y'all go busy yourself for a couple hours. Go on. Shoo. So the X-Men leave, and then Charles goes astral plane because he's worried all of a sudden. Or we don't really get his plan. But what he does on the astral plane is travel damn near across the world, and he ends up visiting the Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, who apparently are big into training Falcons now because that's what we see them doing. He's like, Xerxes, ahoy! And then a Falcon lands on his arm for no reason. And he's like, hey, how would you guys like to join the X-Men? And they're like, we would, but we're already Avengers now. I don't know if you heard. It's in the papers and stuff. We did a press conference. And then he's like, oh, all right, well, cool. I just, offers out there, y'all. Offers out there. So I'm going to, Ghost Me is going to leave. And then he's gone and he's traveling around, apparently recruiting a lot, asking people. Nobody's saying yes. At least that's the impression I got. Because for some reason, he has lost faith in the X-Men. Now, mind you, Angel is on the injured list. Jean's in college, so we're down to 3 X-Men, really, active duty. We don't know how long Angel's going to be out. But, I mean, damn, if I'm the other 3 X-Men, I'm like, what's going on here? And it gets worse. It gets worse. So, we cut to Beast and Iceman, who are on a date. Because anytime they get like an afternoon off, they call these girls the library girl and the coffee shop girl, who apparently always, at the drop of a hat, can just go on a date with these 2 dudes. So we go and they're buying them hot dogs and soda. So 2 hot dogs, 2 soda is what Hank orders. And the guy's like $1. First of all, I don't even get that kind of deal at Costco. You know what I'm saying? Like $1 for 2 hot dogs and 2 sodas? The 1966 prices, though, comics were like, what, 20 cents? I guess he only made 20 cents an hour or something. So, I mean, it's relative or whatever. I couldn't go there with a $20 bill now and feel like a fat cat. They'd be like, what is this, Monopoly money? Monopoly was most likely invented. Anyway, so they're on a double date. We get a random Spider-Man cameo for no reason. He's up there foiling a, burglary or whatever that they're watching. They almost, got involved, but they didn't really. But what the big thing from that date is, like, Bobby and Hank, they order the food. They're like, it's $1 each. And they're like, ooh, my pocket's a little light. And so they make the girls pay. They make the girls pay for the meal, which, I mean, even in 1966, I think it's pretty jacked up. I mean, it's not like they can't pay, but, like, you're the one who asked them on the date, and then you make them pay after they took the afternoon off to go out with you. I don't know. It's just weird. Anyway, the X-Men the next day. Now, at this point, like, even when we first saw the Puppet Master, I started thinking to myself, we are getting a lot of stuff in a short amount of time. And it seems like they're just throwing everything at us to see what sticks. I don't know. It started to go all over the place for me reading it. I had to even go back a few times and be like, what the hell's going on here? Why is the Puppet Master here if this is a mimic story? I don't know. Anyway, so back to what I was saying. The X-Men the next day, after the hot dog incident, as it should be called, go to see Jean in college. Now, when they see Jean in college, that's when the mimic's like, oh, yeah, this is my chance. And he starts to go to the X-Men to confront him. And what happens? Papa Chuck is mentally like, hey, You want to be in the X-Men? Because I'm open recruiting people. So I don't trust this guy here and the climby guy and the ice guy. They don't do nothing. I need new people. And so he decides, oh, you know what? I might take him up on that offer. And so Charles sets up this thing where the X-Men are going to fight the Mimic. Now, what they don't know is he's got big plans for the Mimic. Now, X-Men get... in the beginning of the comic, I noticed their costumes looked a little bit differently, but I thought maybe it was just the artist choice. Like, they didn't, draw them right or whatever. But we get that explained, finally, almost at the end of the issue, where Jean is like, hey, I made everybody new costumes just on a whim. And they're like, cool, Jeannie, thanks. And, there's that. So X-Men got new costumes for no reason. It's not like they're selling toys, right? So the X-Men get the new uniforms, right? Then they're coming along, and then they go down to see the Mimic and Papa Chuck, who are standing there hanging out, chopping it up. And he's like, oh, by the way, Cyclops is relieved of leader duties, and the Mimic's the new leader. That's right, the new guy I just hired 10 minutes ago is now y'all boss. What? What? Why would he do that? Some dude who's not a mutant is now the leader of the mutant team. Okay, but no sooner does that happen, literally the second it happens, does the Puppet Master show us he's got a Mimic doll now. And he's like, now I'm going to take possession of him. And he does. And now the Mimic is possessed. Again, he puts a hurting on the X-Men, because this is where we joined the issue. So now we're completely caught up. Now, if you piece it all together, it's so weird. I mean, I get why they started with an action sequence, but it's like me starting in the middle of the video, and then right now you hear, hey, it's your boy, welcome to Tommy Reads X-Men. Anyway, so I don't know why they did it out of sequence, other than I guess to catch your attention, but which it did, granted, but you kind of have to piece it all together. That was weird. So the Mimic's possessed, and he takes off. Now, this is where Papa Chuck do Papa Chuck things. He tells them, oh yeah, you might have noticed you had a tough time with the Mimic. Now, don't act like they didn't have a tough time before this, but he says, it's because I put a mental suggestion for y'all, yes, even you, and I suggested that you guys hold back, because what I'm doing is trapping the guy who tried to possess my brain. That's right, y'all pawns in Papa Chuck's little chess game. Even the Mimic, he didn't know. He thinks he's the leader of the team. And then he's laughing by himself or yelling. I don't know. He doesn't really laugh too much. He doesn't enjoy things. But the X-Men decide to follow the Mimic, and then he leads them directly to the Puppet Master's lair. Now, at the Puppet Master's lair, they fight him again. There ain't no mental blocks this time, and they still lose. So it wasn't Papa Chuck. He was just, giving them a little bit of, hope that they can be a better X-Men than this guy who's been an X-Men for 10 minutes. Now, Angel sees that they're in trouble, or he feels that they're in trouble, or he saw how much trouble they had at the mansion. Anyway, he saw trouble, and even hurt, he takes off in his convertible, and he can't fly, so he's driving with the big-ass wings in the back seat, and he finally shows up to the Mimic's lair. Somehow he followed the X-copter that he was a good 20 minutes behind, let's be honest, and he sees him, he sneaks in, he steals the puppet of the Mimic from the Puppet Master, and then the pain's so much he passes out. And he's out for the count. The X-Men have the doll. The Mimic's like, what am I doing? What is wrong with you people? Get out of my life. Leave me alone. And that's the end of the issue. That's the end of the issue. Come back with some final thoughts. All right. Some stuff to unpack. This issue was a 5 out of 10. It was a 5 out of 10. The action was okay, but it looked like they packed 10 pounds in a 5-pound bag. Let's be honest. There was cameos. There was this going here. This guy had a puppet, and then the Mimic was there, and Papa Chuck's a jerk, and Hank's always a jerk who can't even pay for a hot dog. And, the action, like I said, was okay, but, what happened to the Puppet Master? They took his puppet? Did he leave? Did they arrest him? It looks like in the next issue, we're not even going to talk about it. It was like a one and done, but it ain't done. So what's up with that one? The X-Men start to do this in almost every issue that we've seen, that there's a guy behind the guy, and he's pulling the strings. He's literally a puppet master pulling the strings, so I guess this villain was appropriately named. But we end up see him fight the X-Men fight the henchmen, and then when they get to the guy behind the guy, they fight him for like 2 panels. They're like, "Hey, it's you." Boom. We'll see you next issue. And that's what happened here. It's a trend I'm not loving. Maybe it's a Roy Thomas trope. I'm not loving his writing. I miss me some Stan Lee. Can't wait till we get to Claremont, but that's a long journey away. Anyway, 5 out of 10. Not the worst issue that I've read of his. Not the greatest. Anyway, if you like what you see, if you like the new background, let me know. And if you like what you see, please like and subscribe down here. Hit that bell notification in the corners. Got a lot of great stuff coming up on the channel. We'll see you next week for another Tommy Loves X-Men. Later. Hey, Auntie.